The year was 1972, and in these paranormal encounters that my father's recalling, by the time these encounters ended, my grandfather would have died in a mysterious tragedy.
Well, I was going out with your mother at the time, just staying. And I was home watching football with my mother and father. Sunday night, ready to go by friend's house. And we hear noise, it's like somebody coming up the stairs. Somebody coming up the stairs. And also we hear a knock on the door. Boom, 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 boom. The three of us go to the door, see who it is. Open the door, nobody's there. No, we go down the stairs. No noise, no nothing. There was nobody there. And my mother was a little psychic to start with in a lot of ways, and she says we shouldn't open up the door because there's a saying you can let spirits in, something like that. She opened the door and there's nobody there. So that was the first experience. But later on, I was by Fran's house again, coming home. I go to work. And I always park the car in front of the house, lock the car, and I look up, and my mother used to always have the light on for me in a living room. So I looked up, lights on, and I can swear I saw a body, somebody, like my mother, was standing by the door, standing by the window. So she's still up. Go upstairs, open up the door, front door, walk in, everything's black, everything's dark. The lights are off in the living room. I said, what the hell? Didn't make sense. Because they used to always leave the light on for me when I came home. Because my room was right off the living room. So then washed up, went to the bathroom and went to my room. I mean, just about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I started hearing moaning and groaning and like somebody in pain. And we used to have a bar on the corner. Our apartment was almost like about 5 feet from the bar apartment we lived in. And really, really loud. And I said, what the hell? I opened up the window, I look out, I don't see nobody. I thought maybe someone got hurt. Or someone was drunk, or they were in a fight. So I said, where the hell is that coming from? And I couldn't even realize it. I turned around, closed the door, closed the window. It's coming from my sister's room. Sometimes my mother would sleep in my sister's room, to try to get a decent sleep. Sometimes my father used to sleep in his own bed, in their bed by himself. And then I put two together. I see it's coming from my sister's room. It's my mother. So I touched her, grabbed her. I said, Ma, you okay? You okay? Ma, what's wrong? No, I'll tell you. No, I can't tell you. Just like that. I said, you all right? Yeah. My father never woke up. Never woke up from sleeping. I said, are you sure you're okay? Yeah. Then next day, I don't think she told me the next day. Maybe the next night she told me what happened. Her mother, she was dead for at least 10, 15 years already, came to her. She was standing right alongside her and, reaching out to my mother when she was in bed.
On the side of the bed.
Sleeping. And my mother wasn't scared, but, she was just like in shock, like I would say my mother. My grandmother tried to grab her arm in her hand, and she grabbed out, and it felt like slime and, like not there.
Mm-hmm.
So then, next day she told me what happened about that. I said, get out of here. I mean, I didn't believe it at the time. Something like things like that happening just like that. And she came back again. Second time, but not as long. she didn't stay that long.
So this was the second night it happened again.
Second night, yeah. I don't think it was the next night now, but it was close. And what happened was, she got my mother, and she told my father, and my father said, "Nah, come on, you're crazy." So what happened was, a day later, 2 days later, my father had such a bad dream. Such a bad dream, he told my mother, that he couldn't even tell her what it was. It was so bad. He said, "Lou, I can't tell you that's how bad it was." So all this was happening with a span of 4 or 5 days, right? I didn't see nothing else, but this was going on for my mother, my father, and me. So then my father went to work the next day. I woke up early. I said, "Well, okay, Dad." He said, "Oh, you're up?" See, I couldn't sleep. I said, "Goodbye, I'll see you." I went to work. Used to keep all his books. He was a truck driver. He used to take his books. He used to take his keys and wallet from there. He left. He used to leave at 5:30 in the morning. That day, my mother had jury duty. And she was getting ready for jury duty, and she was in the kitchen. All of a sudden, the plates were moving, shaking, the lights were swinging in the kitchen. And then she was so scared, my mother, but she got herself together, and she went to jury duty. Then about in the afternoon, she got a phone call that my father had an accident, and he died in a truck. We heard 5 different stories. He was in a truck. He got out of the truck for some reason. He got hit by another truck, and then we heard he was beat up in a diner on the outside parking lot by the diner. We heard he was on Tully Avenue alongside of his truck. We heard so many different stories. I was at work. I got a phone call, and my sister's girlfriend said, "Rich, come home." I said, "What happened?" So she said, "Your father had an accident." I said, "Bad?" She goes, "Yeah." I knew exactly what happened. I knew he was dead. So I went home and got the news that he was dead.
But all those paranormal things led up to...
All this happened, right. So I believe in everything. Like I said, I don't care if people don't believe, but I experienced it. And my mother experienced it.
But your mother was very into the paranormal and psychic herself.
She used to say a lot of things that came out.
Even her grandmother, I believe she talked about a seance or stuff that they had.
No. That was that was my father's brother's wife, Aunt Eileen. They had a couple of seances too. They had, and one night I was there, and about 15, 20 minutes into it, the blinds were moving. It got windy and everything else. I saw seas, unbelievable.
Yeah. So the family's been very open to that.
My mother was very, very open to it. Like I said, she wasn't really a big psychic, but things happened to her, and she'd say a lot of things that came true. But that's what happened.
This was the premonition, though, of your father passing away.
Like I said, we know he was murdered. We know he was murdered. We don't know really what happened, how it happened, whatever, all these years. There was a priest at the time at Tully Avenue, saw my father laying there alongside of his truck. And we said, "What happened?" The same thing. He said he just saw him on the side of his truck. We don't know, maybe he saw something driving inside the truck with him. He tried to get out, get hit by a car. But we heard he had a couple of fights. He had a fight with about 2 or 3 guys. We don't know what happened. From this day, we don't know what happened. But we know it was foul play. It was foul play. His bones were crushed. They used his face, everything. A lot of people think you're crazy, but I believe it. There's too much out there. It's too much space not to have, things like this happening. I believe in demons. I believe in ghosts. I believe in a hereafter. I believe everyone. I believe all this. I believe it. No doubt about it.
Well, thanks for putting on video, Dad.
Okay.
I remember these stories being told at family events, and they would always intrigue me when it had to do with my family. And, your parents telling you these stories, it really made you know that they were pretty legit. I remember being young, it would creep me out, and as I got older, I had more of an appreciation for them, and, they stuck with me. And as I became an adult, I wanted to know more. These encounters that my family had with the paranormal really pushed me into learning about it myself. My family has been my father's side, sensitive to the paranormal, and I feel like it's kind of with me too. In homes that I rented and bought over the years, I feel like I've had experiences firsthand, audible, visual. So the paranormal is something that I really enjoy investigating.